about real world at that time, who could have imagined that it was just the beginning, truly,
of a genre.
Of a genre.
Not me, because I would have said, I need a piece of everybody coming after me.
Right. You were like, I would have been a reality TV agent.
Yes.
What?
Something strange is happening with Tami Roman, and nobody is telling the full story. The woman who helped invent reality television is quietly dismantling it from the inside, hinting that what we saw on Basketball Wives was only the surface. This isn't a petty feud or a typical celebrity fallout. It's the unraveling of a 30-year empire built on manipulation, editing, and silence, and the wildest part, Tami herself is lighting the match. Calm, measured, and speaking like someone who has carried the industry's dirtiest secrets for decades.
It turned to that. And then after COVID, I got into, or during COVID, I got a lot into we was doing State of the Culture. Then I was hosting the Wendy show, and I just was doing so many other things that music kind of got pushed to the back. I was still recording music, still doing different things. Like any given time, hitmakers like, yo, what we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? I work on music, but it's just other things that kind of push it out the way a little bit. But don't be,
When Tami said, I thought Shawnee and I were real friends, you could hear years of swallowed loyalty in that sentence. T.O. fans, they were inseparable, two women running the franchise together. But when Tami admitted she realized there was no reciprocity, that was the first real crack in the Basketball Wives unity myth. The friendship didn't explode on camera, it died quietly in DMs, where scenes turned into silence. We later learned why. According to insiders, Tami wasn't tired of drama. She was tired of being set up. She claims producers edited out everything that made her co-star Kesha look bad, because Kesha was allegedly dating one of the show's producers. The cameras rolled, the moment went viral, and Tami took the hit. Shawnee stayed neutral, or at least appeared to. That's when loyalty ended and the villain edit began. The irony is brutal. The woman who helped sell realness was destroyed by reality TV's fakest tricks. Tahiti, the purse, the yelling, everyone remembers the chaos. What most people didn't see was the setup. Producers were desperate, no one wanted to film, no one wanted to fight. The network needed an episode, so they whispered, stirred, and let the cameras roll. Kesha left her purse. Tami picked it up. The argument was real, but the villain wasn't. They cut context and kept what would trend. Overnight, Tami went from survivor to stereotype. Even now she says, I gave them something real. They turned it into fiction. And the truth is, she isn't angry anymore that she's finished.
A great reality star.
You've got to be truthful.
Really?
And I think you have to be transparent and vulnerable and open. And I think the tides have shifted, right? When we started in '93, that's what we were doing. We were being our authentic selves.
Right.
Now people come on because they want to have their 15. So.
The internet never let her forget. Every clip, every meme, every purse snatch joke followed her for years. But that's when her quiet exit began. The fake reunion invites. The group trips she suddenly wasn't included in. All the subtle signs production had moved on to a new target. Tami stopped showing up. She didn't even attend the reunion. When fans asked why, she said she didn't want to argue with people who didn't like her in real life. Translation: the cast had become co-workers. Shawnee never called. After she left, Malaysia was reduced to likes and emojis. The only real bond she kept was with OG, one of the few who saw through the manipulation. Everyone else, she said, ain't no need to have an issue now. Her tone wasn't bitter, that it was detached. That's the sound of someone closing a door for good. But betrayal is only half the story. The other half is survival, and Tami Roman has always known how to turn humiliation into leverage.
What do you still find rewarding about it?
Specifically with Caught in the Act, I think we're always leveling up.
Right.
So now that you've seen my life, you've seen me with my children, you've seen me elevate, how can I now transition to helping others do?
After leaving Basketball Wives, she didn't disappear. She diversified. Acting, producing, hosting. Her resume looks like several careers stacked together. She's a series regular on BET Plus's The Ms. Pat Show. She created and runs the scripted drama House of Vicious, and she hosts and consults on MTV's Caught in the Act. Unfaithful, a cheating confrontation show that feels like therapy wrapped in chaos. When cameras follow Tami now, It's not to catch her fighting, it's to watch her guide women through. Betrayal she understands deeply. If you judge, you can't help, she says. And this time, it isn't branding, it's lived experience. The irony is undeniable. The woman once edited into America's favorite aggressor is now counseling people through emotional deceit. And maybe that's the point.
Are you getting some professional help then?
I was diagnosed in 2008. I had to go to therapy, and anybody that has this disorder has to go to behavioral therapy because they have to unlearn things that they've been channeling within their mind and convincing themselves of however long they've been dealing with the disease, with the disorder.
On Unfaithful, Tami sits across from women confronting infidelity, and you can see the recognition. The way she leans in isn't for drama, it's for understanding. That's the twist. The same intensity that made her reality TV gold now makes her credible as a guide. She's been humiliated publicly, betrayed privately, and still built an empire from the wreckage. It feels cinematic. The villain turned healer, and audiences believe it not because it's polished, but because it's earned. But the glow-up didn't. Erase the scars. Tami still battles body dysmorphia, and it's not gossip, it's documented. She said, "I always feel like I'm overweight, even as fans worry she's disappearing." She was diagnosed in 2008, but the damage started much earlier, at 13. A modeling agent tore her apart in front of a mirror, listing imaginary flaws like a checklist. That kind of humiliation rewires a person. Decades later, the reflection still lies to her. When people say she's too thin, she takes it as a compliment. That's how distorted the mirror becomes. And just when it seemed manageable, social media made it worse.
Let me be clear. You're not hurt by the comments. You're more like your
I'm
brain.
like, you think? I'm a bobblehead? My legs are, I look frail. It's so warped that what you guys feel I look like or what you see is not what I see.
Every time she posts, strangers diagnose her, drag her, or demand she eat something. The comments flood in, and Tami, ever the performer, laughs it off. But the exhaustion leaks through her words. Her husband, Reggie Youngblood, tries to buffer it. He cooks for her, checks on her, keeps her grounded. He's 17 years younger, but somehow he's the calm in her storm. Fans once joked about the age gap, but Reggie has proven himself patient, protective, and untouched by the noise. When Tami revealed she even offered him the option to have a child with another woman, the internet exploded. They called her desperate, detached, unhinged. But if you understand her history, it made sense. After years of betrayal and insecurity, offering that choice was her way of showing trust, of refusing to be the one who clipped his wings. It wasn't scandal. It was surrender. The relationship is unusual and refreshing. She's the breadwinner, he's the anchor. She's juggling sets, writing scripts, producing shows, while he keeps the home steady. Together, they've built something rare in Hollywood. A quiet marriage that doesn't survive on attention. But even that has ghosts. Her daughters, Lyric and Jazz, weren't at the wedding. It wasn't explosive drama, just timing, circumstance, miscommunication. Still, the absence hurt, and years later, it lingers. Especially with Jazz, her younger daughter, who came out on Instagram and blindsided Tami. She's admitted it herself. It felt like a slap. Not because Jazz is bisexual, but because Tami found out with everyone else. And in that moment, all her old instincts roared back. The need for control, the discomfort with surprise.
With that specific issue, it was only because I felt like, I come from the era that I come from. I was born in the 1970s, and I came from a specific type of household. You know what I mean? So I was raised a certain type of way. Now that
conflict is public again, on Candy Burst's podcast, Tami explained why she didn't want Jazz's girlfriend at her graduation. The internet went nuclear. She said she was protecting her mental health, that she needed time to feel comfortable. People called it biased, even cruel. But listen closely, and what she's describing is fear. Not of her daughter's identity, but of becoming the villain again. She's 55, tired of reshaping herself for public approval, and fiercely protective of her peace. "I'm not making myself uncomfortable in any phase of my life," She said that it sounded harsh, but it was honest. The world heard rejection. Tami heard self-preservation. Somewhere between those truths is a family still trying to find balance. Jazz, for her part, handled it with grace. She's a recording artist now, openly in love, and while the tension with her mother hasn't disappeared, they're navigating it. Tami says she's still learning, still figuring out how to accept fully without pretending growth is instant. It's messy. It's public. It's human. The same people who mocked her for being too raw on reality TV now judge her for being too honest about motherhood. That's the paradox of being Tami Roman. When you speak your truth, you're labeled problematic. When you stay silent, you're called fake. Either way, the judgment never stops. But she keeps showing up in interviews, in therapy, on screen, trying to rewrite the script the industry forced on her decades ago. And behind the headlines, something else is happening.
I went home that night, and from that moment, every time I looked at myself in the mirror, I could find something wrong with myself. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to deal with it. I just knew, well, I've got to get skinnier. I've got to make myself smaller. I want to be a model. And so I started abusing laxatives. I started not eating. I started throwing up.
The same networks that once painted her as unhinged are now handing her creative control. She's not just hosting Caught in the Act. She's producing it, shaping the narrative, deciding which parts of women's pain make it to air. That's power. The woman who once begged producers to show her side now signs off on final cuts. And she's using that power to educate. Terms like gaslighting, trauma bonding, emotional manipulation. Words reality TV once exploited are now being explained, confronted, and healed. From that, it's like she's building a masterclass from the chaos that almost broke her. But don't let the redemption arc fool you. Tension is brewing again, and this time it's not from fans. Rumors say one former Basketball Wives castmate is pitching a tell-all podcast, teasing what really happened in Tahiti. Insiders claim Tami knows, and she's not happy. After years of reclaiming her image, watching old wounds reopened by people chasing relevance is not betrayal she plans to swallow twice. And if history proves anything, it's that when Tami Roman decides to speak, she doesn't whisper. The real question is what happens when the woman who helped build the empire starts tearing down its foundation one truth at a time. Because from what we're hearing, she's not finished talking. And that's where everything starts to twist again.
Am I sick? No, I'm not in terms of my health sick. Am I mentally not okay? Yes, I've been diagnosed with body dysmorphic disorder.
Okay.
That is a mental disorder that is not curable. It takes a lot for me to get up every single day and go, Tami, you look great. Tami, you're pretty. Tami, you're beautiful. Tami, you don't need to lose any more weight. Tami, you don't need to do anything. It takes a lot for me to do that.
While the public assumes Tami Roman is finally at peace, people close to her say something is brewing behind the scenes. She's been quietly signing on to new projects through Independent Artist Group, the agency that represents major Hollywood power players. And insiders swear she's not just acting anymore. She's planning to produce her own reality docu-series. The working title reportedly leans into her trademark honesty, something raw that revisits what really happened during her years inside the machine. Some see it as a comeback. Others see revenge dressed up as reflection. Either way, she's building, and Tami never builds quietly for long. The irony is sharp. The same networks that once labeled her unstable now want her to recreate that fire, only this time under her own control. Joining IAG marks an exciting new chapter, she told Deadline, sounding polished and professional. But behind the press language is triumph. For years, she was the employee. Now she's the boss. The same woman who once argued with producers in rented mansions is now sending production notes, approving edits, and signing checks. There's poetry in that, but also danger. When the architect of chaos controls the blueprint, everyone who profited from her pain should start checking their inboxes, at the same time. Her personal life keeps feeding headlines. Every time she tries to close the door on reality TV, someone drags her back in. Like Tami Ever After, the spin-off meant to showcase her peaceful love story with Reggie. What aired looked romantic, fun, chaotic in a familiar family way. But sources say what didn't air was how rushed it all was. They married in secret in Las Vegas. No daughters. No parents. Barely any friends. Viewers saw laughter. The reality was heavier. One of her daughters later threw that moment back at her during an argument, saying, "You found out I was in love on Instagram. I found out you were married the same way." That line hit harder than any stage scene ever could, and that tension still bleeds into everything she does. Every time Jazz posts about her relationship, the blogs dissect it, and the story refuses to rest.
My mind has such a warped sense of perception. It's a compliment. Tammy, you look too frail. Tammy, you look like a bobblehead. Tammy, you look skinny. In my mind, that goes, well, I'm on the right track. I'm getting skinny. And then I don't know when to stop.
When Tammy's interview about not inviting Jazz's partner to graduation went viral, the narrative flipped instantly. From protecting her peace to rejecting her daughter, it became the latest public trial of Tami Roman. She explained her reasoning, but the internet doesn't care about explanations. It wants blood. She said she needed to be comfortable in that moment. The world called it judgment. What they ignored was a mother still learning how to love differently under a microscope. That's the curse of being real on camera. People forget you're still human when the lens turns off. Meanwhile, there's another side of Tami the cameras rarely show. The deeply spiritual, methodical, almost quiet version. The same woman who once flipped tables now spends mornings journaling, meditating, praying even for people who once plotted against her. And behind the scenes, she's writing. Not just scripts, actual pages about fame, betrayal, and the psychological warfare of television. Rumors say it's part memoir, part exposé, and people who've seen early drafts claim names are being named. That if that book ever drops, it won't just trend, it'll detonate, especially since some of the producers she's accused of manufacturing villains for ratings are still powerful at major networks. Imagine what happens when whispers from the past finally hit print. Her evolution also brought new allies on the Ms. Pat show. She found what had been missing for years, a set where she was treated as talent, not a target. Co-star Jordan Cooper reportedly noticed her raw humor from the Bonnet Chronicles and pushed for her casting. That single moment shifted her trajectory. She stopped being the woman defined by a purse throw and became an actress who could hold her own in a scripted ensemble. That's the irony Hollywood struggles with. The same unfiltered honesty once labeled anger on VH1 is now praised as authenticity on BET+. Maybe she didn't change. Maybe the audience finally caught up. Still, her success makes people uneasy. Not because she's winning, but because she's controlling the narrative. And Hollywood has never been comfortable with women who own their power. Whispers say some Basketball Wives-era producers are furious she's getting credit for building the empire. One insider claims old footage is being quietly softened in reruns, trying to clean up reputations before her version of the truth drops. It's damage control in real time, and the timing isn't subtle. Behind the scenes, Tami is also mentoring young talent, faces that remind her of herself decades ago. That she's advising them on what not to do, how to protect their image, negotiate fair contracts, and even own parts of their likeness. The same woman who once walked into MTV with a VHS tape is now teaching 20-year-olds how to survive the machine.
Well, for me, it's very close to home, and it's something that I don't talk about often, so this is like the first time because I feel comfortable enough to talk with you ladies about it, but I suffer from body dysmorphia disorder, and I've been dealing with it since I was 13 years old. What? And so a lot of people don't know it's either hereditary or genetic or comes from a negative experience where your self-image has been annihilated.
It's almost karmic. She became the mentor she never had, and that may be her most subversive move yet, because every lesson she gives weakens the system that once fed on her pain. But this isn't a perfectly polished redemption. There are still flashes of the sharp edge that made Tami famous, uncaught in the act and unfaithful. You see it, the look, the pause, the silence before the confrontation, its performance and truth layered together. And that's why it works. She's not pretending to be healed. She's showing what it looks like to stay human while monetizing heartbreak. She's turned betrayal into leverage, insults into opportunity, and none of it is accidental. It's strategy, and the numbers back it up. Her shows are renewed. Her brand is expanding. Her name is trending again, this time not for chaos, but for control. With a net worth hovering around $4 million, she's built slow, deliberate wealth rooted in ownership, not instability. She's acting, producing, hosting, and approving every move. The question isn't whether she'll win, it's who's brave enough to stand beside her when she does. Because Hollywood loyalty always expires, and Tami learned that lesson early. Now comes the twist. Insiders say her next project may reunite her with someone from her basketball wives' past, a figure she hasn't spoken to in years. Producers are tight-lipped, but the rumor is it's not reality. It's a scripted drama loosely inspired by her life, and she's considering casting her former rival. It sounds wild, but in Tami Roman's world, that's just another Tuesday. She forgave people who edited her pain for profit. Imagine what she might do if she gets to direct them instead. That's why her story still grips us. It's not just scandal, it's survival in plain sight. We watched her be mocked, manipulated, and misunderstood, and somehow, she turned it into a blueprint for reinvention.
And for me, when I was 13 years old, I wanted to be a model. You know, we're from New York. I was tall, I was 5'9", I was thin. And I went to this agency and walked in, and that lady ripped me to shreds. I thought I was perfect, 5'9", less than 120 pounds. Assuredly, they're gonna sign me. And she literally stood me in front of a mirror and said, you've got back folds, you've got fat over your knees, you know, you need to do something with your chin.
From the real world to basketball wives to hosting and producing her own shows, Tami Roman has proven one brutal truth. You can't cancel someone who owns their chaos. The harder they try to drag her, the higher she climbs, and now, with whispers of a tell-all book and another major television deal circulating, the real question is what she'll reveal next. Will she expose the producers who played her? Will she confront the castmates who vanished when the cameras stopped rolling? Or will she do something even more unexpected, forgive them publicly and turn peace into the final plot twist? We'll find out soon. Because if there's one thing Tami Roman has taught us, it's this. When she goes quiet, that's usually when the real drama is about to drop. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, stay curious, and tell us whose truth you think the cameras never showed.